Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Max Strang. I am an architect and a principal at Strang Design, a Miami-based architecture, interiors, and landscape firm. I would like to thank Design Milk for inviting me to participate in this virtual conversation, a brave new world. And indeed it is. These are unusual times, and I think that there's some great opportunities here, moments of reflection. This is a time for creativity and ingenuity. So I think that this Design Milk panel is going to be a fascinating way to keep advancing that conversation. I've been asked to talk about three things today. Number one, why the world needs smaller homes. Number two, WFH. I have to be careful with that. I did not want to say WTF, but WFH, work from home. Probably the most abused acronym in these past 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then lastly, I would like to share a special project that our firm is involved with right now. So stick around. We got about 7 minutes, and I think you can make it towards the end. But first, why does the world need smaller homes? And the answer is really simple. 40% of the carbon footprint of humanity is tied up in its buildings, the way we build them, the way we operate them. So if we're going to collectively move forward and address climate change, we're going to have to be changing the way that we design buildings and that we operate buildings. Over the past few decades, the average home size in America has gone up and up and up. And even more important metric is the square footage per person has doubled in the past few decades. So whereas the sizes of our households have been going down, the sizes of the homes have been going up, and that's just backwards, and we need to change it. There's a lot of lessons in these smaller homes from the 40s and 50s and 60s. It was not uncommon to have a 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that was so livable, and back then that's kind of what you needed. That was practical. This was in the era before McMansions and all these oversized homes. And trust me, my firm has designed a lot of these homes, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 feet and up. So, but for me, I find it more rewarding and more challenging to design smaller homes. To design a home, to see how small we can design a home rather than how big we can design a home. I think it's a more rewarding thing as an architect. It's funny, we have a lot of clients come to us with inspiration images at the beginning of a project, and they show us these tiny little homes from, say, the case study housing movement in California. And these homes are 2 and 3 bedroom, and likewise 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet, and they ask us to design something that's 5,000, 6,000 square feet, 2, 3, 4 times that size. And scale doesn't always translate. It's hard to take a little jewel of a design and blow it up 4 or 5 times. So, what's the lesson there is that people are enamored and intrigued by these small homes. So let's figure out a way to get this back into the American subconscious, right? That, you can have great living in a tiny footprint. And that is why the world needs smaller homes. And the second topic of the conversation is WFH. A lot of us these past several weeks and months have been working from home. I know this pandemic has struck a lot of different industries in a lot of different ways. I'm fortunate to be in a profession where technologies actually allow us to work from home. And 10 years ago, we probably could not have done it to the success that we are doing it today. Virtual conferencing has allowed our colleagues to have internal meetings, and our clients and us to interface in ways that we didn't really ever do before this pandemic struck. The virtual walkthroughs on construction sites, design meetings with clients, internal meetings, we do it every day. And I actually quite enjoy working from home. I'm hoping that I can take some lessons from this and maybe work from home 1 or 2 days a week moving forward. I think a lot of companies and employers will be, affording their teams to do the same. Now, that's not without its challenges. We all know that we can be in a Zoom meeting and the dog starts barking, or the kids walk in, or a leaf blower starts up right next door. So I think we are going to have to start looking at different ways that we can design spaces within the homes that are open, yet also have flexibility so they can be very private too. So I think we're going to see a lot more of work from home requests moving forward. And, I think it's going to be interesting to see how architects and designers start to incorporate that into new homes. So the work from home concept is something that, while not new, I think we're going to see a lot more of it, and I think it's going to persist way past the recovery from this pandemic. And lastly, I wanted to share something else with you. My firm is working on a real special project, which involved one of the practitioners of a small home movement here in Florida called the Sarasota School of Architecture. Back in the 40s and 50s, there was a small group of architects that were really designing some ingenious and cutting-edge architecture, mostly homes here on the west coast of Florida in Sarasota. And one of those practitioners was Gene Leedy. And Gene Leedy designed a house in 1956, actually designed 10 on the same block that were they were spec homes, and they were 1,100 and something square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. So my firm has recently been involved with the preservation, the restoration of the Gene Leedy house. So I invite you to follow our progress on this preservation initiative. And it's a journey and a celebration of modernism as well. It's a classic modern house, and we look forward to finding ways to use that house as an academic tool to introduce and educate a whole new generation on the advantages of small home living. So if you're on Instagram, look us up at the Gene Leedy House. That is Gene, GeneLeedy. And you can track our progress there. So a lot of good things will be coming out of that house. One of which will be what we're calling a reissue. So we will be actually building practically the exact same footprint there from 1956 anew to see how economical we can make it and still make it as practical for homeowners today as it was back in 1957 when it was first completed. So thank you for your time today. If you want to follow some of the other projects of our firm, please go to www.strang.design. And once again, thank you to Design Milk. Have a good day, everybody.